Go outside and challenge my son. He's 16, who can dunk and play and hoop like me. Like, that's awesome. And I want to be able to install, that grit, that fire, within them that I had, that hunger, and they have it. And to have kids, athletic like you, that share the same dreams and passion, I mean, it's gonna keep you young. They keep me young, and I thank God for my kids for keeping me, this young. At 36, I know my dad wasn't running around doing what I'm doing, so I know I'm ahead of the curve, and I hope to stay that way.
What did Mike and Roy mean to you growing up?
Everything, man. It's funny, I shared a story. I seen Roy's team out earlier, and when I was with the Knicks, he came and practiced with the Knicks with us, like a full practice. And it was like once before his fight early in his career. And it was pretty cool, like, as 21-year-old, rookie, 21, I was young, and I was like, yo, like, I was freaking out. I was like, bro, Roy Jones is really at our practice, like, hooping with us. I called my brother, called my friends back home, and I was like, one of the highlights of my life, to be able to, rub shoulders and hoop with somebody that, you looked up to, boxing, and one of my favorite boxers, and then Mike Tyson. I mean, me and my dad used to sit back and watch, a lot of his 30-second bouts. He used to knock people out so early, so fast. Like, you go to the kitchen, get popcorn, come back, the fight's over. So just to be, in these guys' presence, man, it's very humbling. It's an honor, and it's magical. You can feel it. You can feel it in the atmosphere, in the room. The energy is electric, and I love it.
Is your dad a big boxing guy?
Oh yeah, big time, man. Muhammad Ali, just everybody. Smoking Joe, Sugar Ray, everybody. He loves everybody, and
cool.
It's pretty cool that I get to kind of fulfill a dream of my dad's by doing something so special.
Cool. Thanks, man. Appreciate
Yep.
it.
That's it. Yep.
Oh, sorry, you're fine. You're totally fine. I can drop a little up for you. Oh, really? Right up here, Jake. You're just sitting right down there, my man.
Nice.
Jake Paul, everybody.
What's up, yo? How we doing?
It's one night before fight night, Jake. Tell us, how are you feeling physically and mentally?
I feel good. I haven't ever felt this good. This is my third time doing this now. I'm getting into a routine. Everything's on point, made weight exactly. Feeling great. It's great to be here. I'm a game time player, so the lights, the cameras, this shit excites me. It's a movie. It's a movie. Mike Tyson? Roy Jones Jr.? Are you kidding me? Staples Center? I mean, we're blessed to be able to do this, and I'm just excited.
Tell me about that excitement. How much does boxing on the undercard of Tyson and Jones do for you? I mean, this is a dream come true for anybody, but as someone who's getting into the boxing game, what does it mean to you?
No, it's like you said, a dream come true. It's an honor. I can't even put it into words. My parents, when they found out about this, they both called me. They're like, "Yo, this is legendary." My dad was getting all emotional. He's like, "I grew up watching Mike Tyson, and to think that my son is fighting right before him." He was excited, and it's so cool, and it's an honor, and I'm lucky to be in this position, and that's why I want to put on an amazing fight tomorrow. I want it to be entertaining. I want to show the boxing world like this kid can actually box. I've been training in Las Vegas for almost a year now, and it's showtime.
I wanted to ask you about that. You're a very successful guy outside of this. So a lot of people say, why would you get into a fight if you're already a success? So what is it that boxing does for you? Why do you love this sport?
Yeah, it's a great point. I'm doing this because I love it. I don't need to do it. I have my music, I have my YouTube stuff, my acting, my businesses, but I'm doing this because I love it. Everything about it, the show, the weigh-ins, the talking shit. I just saw Nate Robinson in the hallway, crossing him up with my air basketball in the hallway, that simple shit that no one sees, it makes me so happy, and I just love it. This sport is amazing, A to Z, everything about it, and that's why I'm doing it. And I feel like I found a home with this. I feel like I've found my passion and my calling in the weirdest way. It's like a typical. You think it's like a typical boxing movie, like the kid who's getting in trouble and going down the wrong path and has fame and fortune and da-da-da. And he finds boxing, and it puts me on this straight and narrow path where I have to stay focused. I have to be the best version of myself. And so this is amazing. It's a dream come true.
How did he react to your basketball skills?
He just froze for a second. He seems lost. He seems lost in this moment. He seems sad. I haven't heard a word from him. I saw his coach. His coach is wearing his own representing his own boxing club. I'm like, who are you here for, man? I was like, Paco, I want to fight you next. He's like, next time you should call out a real boxer, and he gets all mad and was wanting to fight me in the back hallway. I'm deep. I'm in his head. I'm in their heads. That simple. He just doesn't. This is all new to him, but he asked for this, That's why I don't feel bad at all. He asked for this. He's the one that called me out. He's the one that said I hadn't fought an athlete, and I think it's been a rude wake up call for him. I think the nerves are setting in because there's no if you've stepped in the ring before, that there is no other sport like this, and you can't train for that. You have to experience it.
Do you think people are overplaying his previous athletic experience? Because, like you say, when you get into a boxing ring, you can still, as soon as you get punched, you can have the adrenaline dump. It's a unique experience, right? So do you think his previous experience is sort of being built up too much?
I think so. I think it'll help him for sure. He's definitely athletic, right? But how much does being an athlete help in boxing if it's your first fight? I think that type of stuff helps when you're super, super experienced. And I think for sure his athletic ability has been overplayed, and I think mine's been underplayed. People forget that I've had over 200 wrestling matches, Division I in Ohio. People forget that I was an all-star running back. People don't mention those things, and I'm only 23, he's 36, so I'm peaking and he's coming out of retirement.
combined with that, the fact that you have done this already, do you think there's a chance that when the bright lights are on him, he's actually the technique's gonna go out the window like we see with so many amateur boxers, and you're going to be the one refined and you can slip those wild shots? Is that how you see it playing out, or how do you imagine it going?
100%. I think he's going to come out green. I think he's going to come out wild. I think he's going to be like caught in the moment. I'm going to have to be cautious of that because I don't want to stoop down to his level. Me and my coaches have talked about that. And, he's going to be coming with the overhand rights. Just the typical green amateur boxer, like you're saying. So yeah, we're prepared for that. I just don't expect it to last that long. There's no way you can't train to take shots at 36 years old with a 10-ounce glove.
There's something about every so often you get a boxer or an MMA fighter who, for some reason, as soon as they're about to fight someone, people are already talking about the one after that. And I'm finding that with you. You're about to box tomorrow, and already people are going, well, who's going to box after this? Have you experienced that? Can you see that? Can you recognize that happening?
Yeah, I think it's happened with almost all my fights. I think that's the beauty of the sport, is continuing the narrative. Who's next? Who's next? And I have a list of people, and so I'm the one also pushing that narrative. I want to keep fighting. I want to stay active. I want to bring MMA fighters into the boxing ring. I mean, Conor McGregor is the only fighter from MMA really that stepped into the boxing ring. So I want to take these other people who are talking shit already to me on Twitter and bring them into the boxing ring. And I want to beat professional fighters that way. I want to prove to people like, damn, this kid isn't just beating up Nate Robinson and other YouTubers and such. So this is one fight that is creating a start of a long journey.
Why Conor McGregor?
I think it just makes sense, At the end of the day, this is a business, right? And they're saying that this fight is on track. It's breaking all the pay-per-view pre-sale records, and I'm the co-main event. And Conor McGregor is bringing those same pay-per-view numbers. There's no other fighter with as this big of a platform that's calling out Conor McGregor right now. His biggest competitor could be retired. You know what I'm saying? So a couple fights down the line, when my skill level improves exponentially, which it has already since my last fight, I'm gonna beat up Dylan Dennis, which is from his camp. I want to KO everyone in Conor McGregor's camp, and then it's time to fight McGregor. But it's gonna happen.
So the Dylan Dennis thing is in your mind. You think that's gonna happen?
Yeah, he has to get his ass beat. I mean, no one likes that guy. I mean, people don't like me, but they hate Dylan Dennis more. So I think everyone wants to see me beat his ass. And it makes perfect sense because my end goal is fighting Conor McGregor for sure. But I might as well beat up, his best friend first.
And one other name, I heard the promoter Eddie Hearn say that he would be interested in booking you against KSI. He thinks you're an incredible fighter. He said he would love to see that. Is that another one?
Yeah, I mean, KSI is on the list. He's ducking me. He's making the fight all about the money. When I'm just here because I want to fight him for the culture. That's the fight that most fans want to see is Jake Paul versus KSI. He beat my brother, so I want to avenge my brother, come back, and take that W against him. But KSI is busy, making YouTube Try Not to Laugh challenge videos while I'm on the Mike Tyson undercard. So he's kind of getting left in the dust, and we'll see if it happens.
Cool. Good luck for tomorrow night.
Thank you. Hey.
You mentioned your wrestling background. A lot of guys who have wrestling backgrounds go into MMA. Why was it boxing for you?
I think, boxing for me is something that just came naturally. And when all these YouTubers were talking shit, I originally wanted to do MMA. But none of the other YouTubers at the start of this wanted to get into the MMA ring with my wrestling background. So they're like, no, let's box, let's wear headgear, let's box. I was like, I don't want headgear. I want to do MMA, but it eventually led down the path of boxing. I was like, damn, and then I fell in love with it. But I think the wrestling footwork, the positioning, the angles, all that same stuff applies in boxing.
Do you still think about MMA sometimes? Because you're kind of taking the opposite route. Guys who have wrestling backgrounds going to MMA, sometimes they struggle with striking, but you're obviously improving your striking on a weekly basis. Do you still think about that in the back of your mind? Something you might want to try?
Not really. I think I found an amazing home with boxing, and it's been 3 years now of training. So to start MMA really wouldn't make sense for me.
What do these two guys mean to you as an athlete?
I mean, first of all, this is just a legendary night because people my age, I'm 23, people my age have never experienced a Mike Tyson fight night. So for the first time, we're going to get to feel that energy, feel Mike, see Mike walking into the ring. All we've seen is YouTube highlights and rewinds and then documentaries, but we've never actually experienced it live. And so for me, it's a dream come true. I mean, I read Mike's book before he even knew I existed. And same thing with Roy Jones Jr. You know, we watch a lot of film, and we study a lot of fighters in our training camp. Oscar De La Hoya, Klitschko, and Roy Jones Jr. is one of them. We like to mimic, you know, his movement, his head movement, and his hooks. So these are fighters I admire, and it's legendary. It's historic.
What does the thrill of fight night mean to you? The thrill of competition? I assume that's what you're going after here more than really anything, because you got success in a lot of other areas, but you can't get that feeling when you're getting in the ring or when you're competing, when you're in the wrestling mat, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's like there's no better feeling than beating someone who, especially when the world doubts you. And the world's doubted me time and time again. That's where my success comes from. Is where I started off is like everyone in my hometown, the teachers, blah, blah, they didn't believe in me. And so I wanted to prove everyone wrong. So I started to prove them wrong, and I grew and grew, and I kept on proving people wrong. And so the fight game is no different. People think I'm just this YouTube pretty boy rapper kid, but I can actually fight, and I want to prove that to the world and beat Nate Robinson. And there's like you said, no better feeling than defeating another man in front of millions of people. And it's one of the most entertaining. It's one of the biggest or most entertaining forms of entertainment is fighting. You know, if you're walking down the street, you see two people fighting, everyone's going to stop, pull out their phone and watch. If you're walking down the street and you see someone singing, you're like, it's not a guarantee that you're going to watch them. So I like to be entertaining. I like entertainment, and it's perfect for me.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. Bye, guys. It's hot up here, bro. Lights.
Right, Roy. Obviously, you've been here before, but it's been a little bit of a little while. How are you feeling just the night before fight night?
Actually, feeling pretty good. Surprisingly, but I'm feeling pretty good.
How has this experience been getting back into shape, getting back into fight shape? How's it all been?
Been the craziest thing you ever could imagine, brother. Been really, really crazy, you know. Your body have a hard time holding up to all the strenuous work, but you know you gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta take a little bit more time off, or a few more ice baths, a little more hot, cold treatment, and make it happen.
Is that something that you needed to be this age to know how to properly manage your body? Because when you were younger, would you have just pushed yourself and maybe hurt yourself?
Yeah, when I was young, I would have pushed myself, but at this point, you know that if you push yourself, you're gonna hurt yourself. So if you push yourself too much, you won't get an event.
Now the event's here, I think the lead up you've mentioned a couple of times has been sort of up and down for you. Now that the fight itself is here, are you able to put, you know, the 2-minute rounds out of your mind? Is it just about the fight itself now?
Just about the fight itself now.
With Mike, what are you expecting from him? Are you expecting the Mike that was started out his career that knocked out Trevor Berbick, or are you expecting the Mike that didn't look that great in his last few fights and eventually retired on a stool? Which Mike Tyson are you expecting to fight tomorrow night?
I'm expecting that early Mike because he's rejuvenated. He's been out 15 years. He knows what it's like to miss boxing. He realizes what he had, and he's seeking to get that back now. Because when he fought the last few fights he fought, he wasn't really in a mindset of being who he once was. His mindset had dwindled. The fight had dwindled. Now the fight is back. So now he has a desire to want to come out and be who he once was, do what he know he once could do. So with that being said, you got to expect a good Mike to come. I mean, you got to think about it, man. I seen Mike probably about 2 years ago. Looked like he was about almost 250 pounds. Now he's 220. You don't think he's serious?
Let's talk about the serious conversation. I can't imagine how, for you and Mike, how frustrating it must be to put your bodies through a training camp and then right at the week of the fight, people are going to be like, it's not real this, it's not real that. Is that frustrating for you? And do you think the moment the fight starts, people are going to realize this is a real fight?
For us, we don't never look at it as not real. He knows I'm Roy Jones. Roy Jones come out there to do you bad. I know he's Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson come out there to take you out. So it's like, to us, none of that counts. We don't hear what they say. We don't even hear what the commission say. It's not our job. Our job is to go out and do what we do.
Do you anticipate having to spend maybe the first and second, maybe even third round just sticking and moving before?
Yeah, that's what I expect. I want to come out early. I have to figure out my ways and figure out my times to attack, but I do have to let him know that I'm there. But I want to try to work him into a couple rounds, get him started, then see how quick I can get him to fatigue. If I can get him to a fatigue situation, then I can work a lot better. But early, he's very dangerous, and he's probably going to be dangerous all night. Even when he's fatigued, he's dangerous. So
there are some guys, especially if they're a bit smaller than you, if you want to fatigue them, you can lean on them, get in the clinch and sort of pull them down. But for him, he's obviously a bigger guy and he's much more explosive. Is that sort of off the cards for you, or do you think you have the strength to hold him in the clinch and try and pull on his body and get the lactic acid going?
I do have to hold him on the clinches and try to get the lactic acids going because he's very dangerous when he's at his own distance. So you either got to get all the way up on him or all the way away from him.
Is it different fighting a guy like Mike because you watched him in his prime, you know every combination he has, right? We know the punches he likes. So does that make it easier for you knowing, like, well, if this left hook's coming, the uppercut's probably coming after, or does it just make no difference at all?
It makes no difference because you know it, but you don't know what speed he's going to be at. And that speed will be determined by who he is that particular night, how he's feeling that night. So it's like, he know my combination somewhat too, but he don't know what speed or velocity I'm going to throw him at because I'm an off-speed thrower. You know what I mean? So you never know which one will have a zip on it, which one's not. Same with him.
Do you think in the build-up to this, obviously because he hasn't boxed for so long and because he was such a big celebrity in his prime, do you think people are sort of underestimating you, or sort of it's like the Tyson show and you're not getting the respect that you deserve?
I don't really know. I don't really care because for me, I know I got to go out and be the best me that I can possibly be. And that's all my goal is. So what people think about it, y'all must have forgot.
I know tomorrow night comes first, but there's a guy you've long wanted to box called Anderson Silva.
Mm-hmm.
He's now out of the UFC. He's a free agent. Is that something you would be interested in?
If this goes well tonight, I'm almost positive that will probably be the next thing we do because he's been wanting it, I've been wanting it, so this got to go great first.
Good luck tomorrow night.
Thank you. How you doing?
Good. We were just talking to Badu Jack. He's 37 years old. He was saying he can't imagine ever fighting at 50, 51. He can't imagine going this far. What would Roy Jones have said, like, say, after the second Antonio Tarver loss or something, if you'd said, you're still going to be fighting at 51 and you're going to be fighting Mike Tyson?
I wouldn't have thought I was going to be fighting Mike Tyson, but if you put it like that, I said, well, you're probably right. Because if I ever get an opportunity to fight Mike Tyson, I'm probably not going to say no.
Did you imagine you'd be going at 51 still?
No,
still
I
going
did
strong?
not. No clue, no way in the world. I thought it was over with. I thought I was done at 50.
How has getting older been different than you thought it was going to be?
Just that, I mean, I can't believe that I'm able to maintain my speed at 51 years old, because at 51 I'm still faster than 95% of the boxing world, and it shocks me when I watch it. I'm like, how in the world can this be? You know, but it's the craziest thing ever. But you know, the aches and pains are there because you are 50, 51, and they're gonna be there no matter what you do. So it's like you just have to have a mental strength to overcome adversity and overcome the things, little elements that get in your way. You got to be able to step on them and keep going.
The athletic world has changed, hasn't it? Since
Yes,
we were,
it has.
Since we were young. I mean,
Yes, it has.
This was not possible.
When I was a kid, 30 was old for a fighter.
Right. It's just, and it's not even just in boxing. It's, you see, you know,
Look at
soccer
Tom
players
Brady.
playing
Look
in
at
the
Drew
40s.
Brees. You know,
Right,
everybody.
exactly.
You know. So.
What does that tell you? I mean, it's about advances in nutrition and science and stuff, but also
It's about advancing science and nutrition too, but you can't say that all the time, because some of that stuff has gotten worse. Just that people are learning to take better care of themselves and how to preserve their bodies for the long run. So I think that's the biggest difference.
You're excited to fight Mike. Is it disappointing that under the circumstances it's not going to be with fans in the arena?
Yeah, it's very disappointing because fans are what really drive me. So if I could have fans, if we had fans in there cheering me on, can you imagine? I mean, that's one of my biggest additives is having a crowd, because that's who I come to perform for. Now, don't get me wrong, there'll be an audience all over the world that will be watching, and I try to relate to those people too. I got to try to remember that, because sometimes having them there reminds you about the ones that are watching, because you're getting an immediate reaction from the ones who are there, and their reactions go for everybody that's watching. Now you don't have that immediate reactions of the ones that are there, so it's kind of like going to be hard. You got to make a note to yourself, remember, the world is watching. You still got to entertain the world, not just these people here.
What will be a success for you coming out of tomorrow?
A success would be to look good, to not get caught with nothing stupid. Just be me. If I can see myself being me, that's success.
Thank you, Ro.
Thank you.
How are you, Roy?
Good.
Talk to us about how you ended up coming here. It's a long journey about, obviously, Mike needed an opponent, and there were a lot of names to consider, but what made you the best opponent for him?
The names add up. You know, when you get A side for something, you also need a good B side for something. You know, it's like the East is no good if they don't have a Western Challenge. The AFC in football is no good without the NFC Championship. You understand me? National League, American League baseball. Every side you gotta have. Every time you have something good, you gotta have an equal but opposite force. Mike Tyson, unpredictable, crazy, entertaining, exciting. Who else over there? Roy Jones. Crazy, entertaining, exciting. Wow. When you mention that, the world went crazy. I mean, if you think about it, brother, you can announce any fight you want to announce. But none has ever come along and broken the pre-sale pay-per-view records. What does that tell you? People are anticipating what they're going to see Saturday night. So who other than me should have been chosen for an opponent? Now, what would have been bad is if I would have looked at it and said, oh no, I'm too old, I don't want to get hurt, and ran from it. But it's not about me. You understand me? It's about people being in a bad situation right now. People wanting something, wanting to see something to give them hope. People want to be positive. Well, I'm here to give that hope. So it's like, it's the biggest opportunity of a lifetime for me, the biggest challenge ever for me, but we're facing that right now in life. You understand me? So why not take that challenge right now and be a positive for the people that are stuck inside and can't do nothing, or that are losing their businesses, or wish they had an opportunity to do something good.
A lot of families are going to be together. It's Thanksgiving weekend. For those who will be paying the $50, what kind of a match and product will they expect as far
When
as
you
the
get Roy
fight goes?
Jones, you're going to get your money's worth. You can believe that.
And you were the fighter of the decade in the 90s, and at one point you guys were on a collision course to fight each other. Do you wish that you just had that chance in your absolute prime so you could have really shown what you're capable of?
I do, yet God's time is the best time. If this is the time for it, then this is the time for it. So it's like I would have liked to have did it back then, but God knows best. And now must be the right time because it happened at a time where you almost can't say no. The whole, not just us, the whole world needs it more than we do. The world wants it. The world is starving for entertainment right now. The world is starving for positivity right now. You know, the world is starving for being back together right now, especially this country. So it's like, right now is the perfect operative time to have a fight of this magnitude.
And lastly, is this the new chapter of your life?
No.
Exhibition fights moving forward?
No. Listen. Too many people want to beat me up anyway. Like, I'm not wasting time. I'm giving him that shot because I also wanted to beat him up. So we both want to beat each other up. The rest of them, they don't mean nothing. He means something.
Doesn't get any bigger than Tyson. Good luck
Not at
tomorrow,
all.
Roy. Thank you.
Thank you. Eh? Good. Thank y'all.
Hi, Mike. First of all, I'm very interested in knowing, from where you were before this entire procedure, how much of a physical journey has this been for you to get to this fight?
Hey, it's phew, I can't believe you asked me this.
Mike, you can take your mask off.
Are you sure?
Positive, yes, sir.
Okay. So it's cool to take my mask off, huh?
From this distance, I think we're good.
Okay, cool. Would you be kind enough to express that again?
I was just wondering what the physical journey has been like from where you were to getting to this fight. What has it been like just to change your body into fight shape?
I don't know. It's a 100-pound process. And I started, my wife told me, well, she pretty much asked to do the treadmill for 15 minutes a day. So that 15 minutes turned into 2 hours a day. And from that, I started doing 2 hours on the treadmill, an hour on the bike. Then I started running. And I don't know where I was. I wanted to hit the mitts. I don't know why I wanted to hit the mitts. And someone said that they knew Rafael Cardozo, I believe it is, and Cadera, please. And he held the mitts for me, and it was I had to lose the weight, of course. But after I lost the weight, I went vegan for the whole 2 years and just never eat anything. Just starved and exercised. But when I was hitting the mitts, and I believe we showed it on Instagram, and it got like over 2 billion hits. And before that little 20-second combination, I was in the bed for 6 weeks. I was all messed up, and then I just got comfortable with the process of punching and moving, and then eventually sparring. And it was really listen, I'll never call another fighter a bum again, because the process of getting in shape to fight somebody is just psychologically overwhelming if you're not an experienced fighter.
You mentioned that for some reason you wanted to hit the mitts. Are you surprised that you wanted to? Because that was something for years you shied away from. You didn't want to go back to the boxing. So when you had that sudden desire, like I'd like to hit the mitts again, were you surprised at yourself?
Hey, listen, this stuff started with all my friends. I took this I don't know what's it. It's a natural medicine from alternative. It's called a toad. I took the medicine, and the medicine told me to get in shape.
You said the medicine told you to get in shape.
Yeah.
You also mentioned before that the gods of war came and tapped you on the shoulder and said it was time to go again.
Well, pretty much, yeah. Pretty much that spirit that I took that they called the toad, the god's monocle, it really blew my mind. So told me to come back and start getting in shape.
Is it fun? Has this been fun for you? I know it's been hard work, but is it fun to know that you're
This
back?
is fun right now.
This bit here.
This, and then boom, then we're going to the fight. This is the fun part. Everything else is hell.
Your career, back when you were an active fighter, has had the highest of highs and then the lowest of lows. If you compare yourself now as a fighter to at any point in your prime, how similar do you think you are to the guy who came and destroyed Trevor Berbick, or the guy towards the end? Where do you think you rank now compared to in your prime?
Hey, I never put myself in that perspective because I didn't know what I was then. I'm just very more comfortable in the way who I am now, to a certain degree. Not totally, but to a certain degree. So I can't compare the two, but this is what I want to do. I can say this, my last fight, I didn't have no interest in doing it. I'm interested in doing it now.
How many rounds do you think you sparred for this fight?
Quite a few. I couldn't question the number of rounds, but quite a few.
What was it like mentally to get back in the ring after so long and be trading punches with someone? What was that like as an experience?
Well, the first day was disastrous.
Okay.
And but neither how do I express this? During that session of boxing when I was getting shellacked, never once did I say, "What the fuck am I doing here?" I said, "Ooh, I belong here."
That must prove something to you, right? To know that, okay, this is going terribly, but I'm not quitting. That must tell you that you're doing the right thing, that you're belonging back in that ring.
At some degree, it tells me I'm a fool.
Okay.
But I love the other side that tells me I can do it. Yeah, I pretty much feed that one.
With Roy Jones Jr., what are you expecting tomorrow night? Are you expecting him to be a little bit slower? Are you expecting him to try to stick and move for the first few rounds? What exactly do you expect out of Roy tomorrow night?
I have no idea. Most likely part of. I'm just gonna just go right at him as soon as the bell. We're just gonna see what happens.
Have you been frustrated with all this sort of pre-fight talk about, there's these restrictions, there's this restrictions? For you, you've put your body through a training camp, and now people are saying that you're almost putting on a show. Does that kind of insult you? You know you're in here to fight properly.
Well, listen. From many perspectives, how they may look at it, it's going to be entertaining. Because I'm a fighter, he's a fighter, and of course, we're in there throwing punches, and during that process, anything can happen.
Do you think you can still hit as hard as you used to be able to?
We're gonna see.
Good stuff. And so I guess just one last thing from me. How do you see the fight going? What's your prediction? Do you have a prediction? Do you think I can knock him out in the first round or the 8th round? How do you predict this fight going?
As soon as I hit him good, listen. I don't know. Maybe I don't know how to go either. I don't know. I just don't want to say the wrong things because some people get angry, like the boxing commission. So I don't like to say the wrong things.
I understand. Good luck tomorrow night.
Thank you very much.
Mike, this is something I never thought I'd do, cover a fight in 2020 with Mike Tyson. You were last in the ring 15 years ago. What has the process been like for you, and what has changed now compared to 15 years ago as far as training goes?
I do the same process. I box, I run, hit the bag, and it has the same momentum, same dedication. I would have never lost the weight.
Is there anything that's changed for you in the last 15 years as far as preparing for a boxing match?
Well, I want to do it. Most of the time I was obligated to do it from a contract perspective. If you don't do this, we'll take everything you have. We have you in common. They've been blackmailing me. If you don't fight, we'll take everything you have and this and that. You'll be back in Brownsville. So, during that process, I didn't really want to fight.
And now it's a totally different environment where...
Yeah, this is fun. We were doing some business. I have a couple of business partners, and we were fortunate that was successful in a few endeavors. And I just wanted to do this. My brother-in-law asked, did I want to fight somebody? Somebody offered money for me to fight somebody, and at first I said no. And then I said, hey, will he fight me? Will he box me? And the guy said yes. And we went from, Bob Sapp, Tyson Fury, Shannon Briggs, and now we got Roy Jones.
You've turned your life around so many times. What do you credit that to?
What is that? Tell me about that. What did you mean by turn my life around?
You've had so many reinventions of yourself. You've had so many acts. You've had so many new chapters, and you keep building onto your story. What do you credit that drive and spirit to? I'm just
struggling like everyone else here. I'm learning from life's mistakes, or life wins. I'm doing what you're doing. We all out here surviving. Some struggling more than others. Some struggling with demons that we create ourselves. We're just out here in this world getting pitched punches of life.
You have all these people around you again. Mobs are after you, kind of like it was in your heyday. What is that feeling like that you still draw that energy and attraction?
Well, I don't know really how to take that. The only thing I want to do is be present for my wife and my kids, my niece, my family members and my close friends. This is a part of my life that I've pretty much thrown away. It doesn't have the appeal like it once had, but I like to manipulate it. I like to use it for a way I can voice my ego and make people come to fights and all that stuff. This is all beautiful and it's meant to be this way. But I don't take it as serious as I did when I was younger.
When we talked last year at the Tyson Ranch, you were telling me about the toad and how it kills your ego. Is your ego back now?
It's so much more healthier than it ever been.
And you've famously said everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. You're going to get punched in the mouth tomorrow. What's your plan?
Well, I'm gonna go to Plan B, punch him back.
Thank you, Mike.
Hey, Mike.
How you doing?
Good, thanks. When you were the heavyweight champ in the world, did you ever think about what life would be like in middle age? Did you ever think that far ahead?
No, I didn't think I lived that long. I was just so intense and took myself so serious back then.
So you never could have imagined being in this situation?
Not in a million years, no.
What have you learned as you've gotten older about your body and about aging that maybe isn't as true as you thought it was when you were younger? When you were coming up, it was unusual for a 30-year-old fighter to be still competitive and at the top level.
Exactly. It's just that the human species in general has, I don't know the word, it exonerated itself, exalted itself. What is that called again? We advanced ourselves. We're different. Yeah, we evolved to another species almost. You know, what we're doing now, we're living longer. We're curing longer. We're getting more drastic disease. The disease now changes its form for it. It lasts longer and more difficult to find any kind of vaccine for it. I'm talking about diseases that we're not even conscious of yet. And I don't know. You tell me.
You said it. You mentioned that you're feeling healthier than you have in a long time. How does that manifest itself? Do you sleep better? Do you eat better? Do you have more energy?
No, I'm a horrible sleeper, but I just don't leave my house. My wife and kids, they probably they can't imagine me being in the house this long. Listen, I would get up in the morning, I would leave the house at 9 in the morning, and I would come back 9 the next morning. And it was never, I was one of those house husbands. And time humbles you. And you want to see your children grow. You want to see them evolve like you. And you want to see them have a great childhood like yourself. And so that's basically what I do. I just want to evolve myself with my family and my friends who I love. That's what it's really all about now. The older we get, we start to lose so many people. Life is just a flicker of the eye.
What will you consider a success tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night?
Yeah. What will make tomorrow night a success? Or is it already a success before you even get in that ring?
Listen, we're here. Me being here is a success. Me just existing as a human being is a success. And that's more of, I don't look at life as being age. I look at life as energy. And you don't bring your age to the table, you bring your energy to the table. You don't go meet people, hey, I'm Bob, I'm 59. You don't do that. You say, I'm Bob, I'm such and such, and you do it with enthusiasm too, because enthusiasm is contagious, and you want the same response.
You mentioned it earlier in the process for this fight, but this may not be the last thing for you. You want to see where this goes and what you can do, beyond this. What's your dream with that? What do you want to see?
Well, as I was saying earlier, we got this league, Legends Only League, and we're getting ready to, and it's a strong possibility we're getting ready to take it to another level and have other sports compete. Like we were discussing one, just for instance, Dennis Rodman and Men of Peace doing a one-on-one game to 11. After they get like 3 months to get in shape, and we could film them getting in shape and whatever. It's the whole what it is. And we could make a series out of it.
How about for you personally?
Excuse me?
How about for you personally?
God willing, sky's the limits.
Could be anything, huh? Yeah. And why do you think that's important? Why do you think the League of Legends is important? Is it important that people see that aging is not what it once was?
Well, as we stated earlier in the beginning of our conversation, we are evolving. And sometimes we can't handle the evolvement, but we stayed shelved because it's overwhelming that I could still do this, but they still won't accept me because of my age. I don't know. This whole thing started because I was watching Jerry Rice, and I guess he did a 5-something, and so he did a 4-9 or something really meager. deterrent from his best number, and they said he can't play anymore. People still wants to see him play, even though he's a little bit slower. They still want to see him. They want to see him more than they want to see the guy playing his position at any team that's functioning now. So I looked at it from that perspective. I looked at it from the numbers perspective as well, because the world is all about numbers now, especially when it comes to Instagram, right? So yeah, I was told that before, and I didn't agree with him. The world is all about numbers. You're born, you die. Things come into existence, then they don't. Then it doesn't work anymore. It's just what it is.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
That's it.
Thank you.
Right down here, buddy. Right down the stairs.
Okay.
Appreciate you, Mike. You look great, buddy.
Good. Yeah. So I think we leave. That's where the mic.
Bill, you happy? Fighter.
This is mic one, mic one, mic one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
two goes to a two shot, correct, in the box? Camera two goes to a two shot when both fighters are in the box, correct?
This is mic one, mic one, mic one. This is the stick mic, mic one, mic one. 1, 2, 3.
truck colors.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing.
Everyone fights for a reason. Some fight because it's who they are, because it drives them, because it's in them, because it is them.
The kind of fight you dream about.
Everyone fights for a reason, to win, because these are gladiators who aren't afraid to hurt, to be hurt. It doesn't matter why they fight. All that matters is who's standing at the end. Tomorrow, live on pay-per-view, Triller presents Tyson versus Jones.
Ladies and gentlemen, fight fans around the world, welcome live Los Angeles, California for the official weigh-ins for tomorrow night's historic bout, Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. This will be one for the ages, the Legends Only League, Iron Mike versus Superman, Tyson on Triller.com on pay-per-view, Tyson on Triller.com pay-per-view. All of the pay-per-view action being brought to you by Triller, the Staples Center, downtown Los Angeles, tomorrow night, Saturday, November 28th. The entire 4-hour event begins at 8 p.m. Eastern with a 1-hour free view. That's correct, a 1-hour free view. And then we'll go live on pay-per-view at 9 p.m. Eastern, available on pay-per-view through your cable and satellite providers. Pay-per-view streaming on Tyson on Triller.com, the official home of the event. Let's go to the pay-per-view fights. We've got quite a few set up. They are all available on Tyson on Triller.com. We'll kick things off with Jermaine Ortiz versus Suleiman Sagawa. 8 rounds for the WBC USNBC lightweight silver title bout. Then we've got an 8-rounder scheduled, a good one. Badu Jack, Blake McKernan. Then we've got Jake Paul, Nate Robinson, the much anticipated Jake Paul, Nate Robinson. And then the one we've all been waiting for, Iron Mike Tyson versus Captain Hook, Roy Jones Jr., 8 rounds, 2 minutes each round. It will be scored by the WBC, no headgear and 12-ounce gloves. We will also present at this time, coming up soon, our Triller host. They are Lexi Pantera and Ruby Rose Benton. Now we'll start with the undercard weigh-ins to kick off today's weigh-ins. Greg Corbin will be first up to the scales out of Dallas, Texas. Professional record of 15-3, 9 KOs, a former National Gloves champion. Rose to prominence over a 6-year stretch with 15 consecutive victories. Greg Corbin. 291.8 for Corbin. 291.8 for Corbin. And now making his way up, fighting out of the red corner, Giuseppe Joe Cusimano. Cusimano, out of Carini, Italy, will go to the scales, 6'4". He's nicknamed the Sicilian Nightmare. 18-3. 224.5 for Cusimano. 224.5. What a way to kick off the evening. The heavyweights going at it. This will be for the vacant WBC USNBC heavyweight title, scheduled for 8 rounds. Cusimano coming in at 18-3. Corbin 15-3. This should be a great matchup. The big boys going at it to kick off the evening. Okay, guys, fellas, great job. Great job. The big boys, come on out. That'll be a great way to kick off the evening, the heavyweights, to get us started. Want to remind everybody, tomorrow night, what a lineup we have on our music end. Our national anthem will be done by Neo. Grammy award-winning singer, songwriter, actor, producer. Neo's voice and songwriting capabilities have dominated radio stations. His album, Because of You, won the Grammy for Best Contemporary R&B at the 50th Grammy Awards. Neo has collaborated with Mariah Carey, Rihanna, and Celine Dion, to name just a few. He is also a judge on the reality competition show World of Dance. And also the music collaboration that we have going on. We've got Lil Wayne, hip-hop artist of the 21st century, who has been nominated for 26 Grammys, will be playing, and his highly anticipated mixtape, No Ceilings 3, rumored to be dropping today. We've got French Montana, musician and CEO, who to date has over 1 billion views on YouTube for his song Unforgettable. Wiz Khalifa, his debut single, Black and Yellow, peaked at #1, and then of course YG will be performing. Okay, here we go, head to head. Next up, Edward Vasquez coming out of the blue corner. He'll get up to the scale first out of Fort Worth, Texas. $125.4 for Vasquez, 7-0, 1 KO, undefeated and highly talented. And now he'll be walking up to the scale, fighting out of the red corner, Irvin Gonzalez. Professional record of 14-2, 11 KOs, fighting out of a Worcester. He is the reigning WBC World Youth Featherweight Champion. They competed together in the 2016 Olympic trials, both before turning pro. Became the only current American-born WBC youth title holder back in February. Irvin Gonzalez. $124.4 for Gonzalez. 124.4. Fellas, go ahead and get into your Triller box there. Great job, fellas. Great job. This should be a great matchup. Both were in the Olympic trials 2016. Before we bring up our next fighters to the scale, want to let everybody know that our lead announcer tomorrow will be Mr. Mario Lopez. The ring announcers, Mr. Michael Buffer, Barry Egan, myself, will be handling all of the other fights. Our commentators, the great one, Sugar Ray Leonard, a boxing Hall of Famer. How about Israel, the last style bender, Adesanya, UFC undefeated middleweight champion. Pre and post interviews will all be with Mr. Jim Gray, another legend, and referee Ray Corona will ref the Mike Tyson-Roy Jones fight. That 8-rounder will be his 566th professional bout by Ray Corona. Unbelievable, most of them being title fights. What a lineup we have. Okay, our next one going head-to-head. Suleiman Sagawa and Jermaine Ortiz will be going at it. They are going for the vacant WBC USNBC silver lightweight title. It's an 8-rounder and should be a good one. Both fighters in great shape. Let's bring in the blue corner first. Here he is, Suleiman Sagawa. out of Silver Spring, Maryland. He is 13-2-1, 4 KOs. He is a southpaw. Stepping into the ring after Ortiz's original opponent, Nahir Albright, was forced to withdraw. So he'll get up to the scale first. Sagawa lightning quick. 131.8 for Sagawa, 131.8. And his opponent, who will be coming up to the scale next, he'll be representing the red corner, looking to take the WBC USNBC Silver Lightweight title in this 8-rounder. So let's welcome up to the scale, Jermaine Ortiz. Ortiz, nicknamed the Technician. He is undefeated, 13-0, 7 wins by way of knockout. He is the reigning WBC World Youth Lightweight Champion. His first boxing coach as an amateur and National Golden Gloves was Carlos Garcia, the godfather of Worcester. Ortiz to the scale. 133.5 for Ortiz, 133.5. Fellas, get you in your Triller box there. Go head to head. Yeah, let's get you in there. These two come into this fight both in outstanding shape. This should be a dandy. Both extreme quickness, lightning quick. I don't see either one of these fighters backing down. This should really, really be a good one. Thank you, fellas. Good luck tomorrow. I want to let everybody know that up next on the scales, the much anticipated Badu Jack and Blake McKernan. Much anticipated. It's going to be an 8-rounder light heavyweight bout.
I think that him and his team are definitely overlooking me. Picking me for this fight was the wrong decision.
Well, my team is telling me that he's been talking crazy, so I wonder who's overlooking who.
November 28th, I will go 14-0.
This guy, it reminds me of Peter McNeely. I fought 8 world champions back to back. This guy's a club level fighter. So,
hey, not to interrupt, but nobody's talking crazy, man. I understand that you share the ring with world champions, but this is a different caliber. This is a different caliber, a different level, man.
On this stage.
If you weren't looking forward to this fight before this afternoon, I feel like I could speak for everyone and say we are looking forward to it now. We look forward to seeing you on November 28th.
Pay-per-view tomorrow night. TysonOnTriller.com pay-per-view. Get with your local cable provider. We'll be streaming live, but let's pick up that show. TysonOnTriller.com tomorrow night. We will begin the free view at 8 p.m. Eastern. We go live on pay-per-view at 9 o'clock Eastern. Don't miss the action. TysonOnTriller.com. Okay, let's get some more fighters up to the scale. This one fighting out of the blue corner, making his way, Mr. Blake McKernan. Blake, Sacramento born and bred, undefeated, 13-0, 6 KOs. His nickname, The Beast. He served 3.5 years as a machine gunner in the infantry, including 1 year in Iraq. Blake McKernan, undefeated since going pro in 2016, looking to be in fantastic shape. 13-0, 6 KOs. Sacramento born and raised. Looking ready for this matchup, an 8-rounder, light heavyweight. 186.8 for McKernan. 186.8 McKernan. And now we'll bring his opponent fighting out of the red corner up to the scale out of Las Vegas, Nevada, Badu Jack. The Swedish fighter, nicknamed the Ripper, 22-3-3, 13 KOs. Former world champion in 2 different weight classes. Held the WBC super middleweight title from 2015 to 2017. The WBA light heavyweight title in 2017. He is the Ripper. 188.9. Badu Jack, 188.9. This is one of the most anticipated bouts on the card, scheduled for 8 rounds. These two got something to prove tomorrow night. Much, much, much anticipated. McKernan with the American flag. Jack hailing from Sweden. These two are going to go toe-to-toe. You can guarantee that. Both look to be in fantastic shape. Mark this one down as one to watch. Thank you, fellas. Good luck tomorrow. While they're getting dressed, want to let everybody know that coming up next, talk about anticipated, Nate Robinson, Jake Paul, in one everybody's been talking about for quite some time. They will be coming up to the scale next. And let me tell you, this one, buckle your seatbelts. So Nate Robinson will be taking on Jake Paul. Talk about anticipated. If you've been following social media the last 6 months, this has been a war. So tomorrow night, fight of the night, I don't know. It's gonna be a lot of action. I can tell you these two are ready to scrap. It's time to throw down for sure. Okay, let's welcome, fighting out of the blue corner, up to the scale first, out of Seattle, Washington, Mr. Nate Robinson. Nate is a former NBA star, 3-time winner of the NBA Slam Dunk Competition, 10-year NBA veteran, and now a pro boxer. Nate Robinson to the scale. 181 even for Nate Robinson. 181 even. He has been training 6 days a week, twice a day for the past year. Nate looks to be in great shape. And his opponent, he'll be walking to the scale out of the red corner. And he has arrived, Mr. Jake Paul, out of Calabasas, California. He's a YouTuber. He's a pro boxer. He's a musical artist. He's also 1-0 as a professional boxer. 1 TKO. The problem child, true to form. The new hairdo is being removed. Jake Paul 1-0. 189 even, Paul. 189 even, Paul. So here we go, face-to-face, head-to-head, Robinson Paul. If you've been following social media the last 6 months, this is going to be exciting. 10-year NBA veteran, 3-time slam dunk champion, making his professional debut, Nate Robinson, going against YouTube sensation Jake Paul. We've been waiting for this one a long time, Los Angeles. True to form, they've been going at it month after month.
Bitch, man. Bitch, man.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Bitch, man.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Make sure you set your recording because you're going to want to watch this one twice. Nate, if I could get you over real quick.
Love you, Nate.
Right to that microphone, Mr. Robinson. Nate, 10-year NBA basketball player, 3-time slam dunk champion. Everybody knows you're a great athlete. Why taking up the challenge to become a professional boxer?
I mean, foremost, I just want to, thank everybody for the opportunity, Mike, Roy, Triller. But I just want to prove that, I'm the greatest athlete, one of the greatest athletes to ever walk this earth, and that's the plan. So tomorrow, you'll see why.
Well, I'll tell you, you've been an underdog your whole life. Anybody who knows the story of Nate Robinson, and I'll tell you, I wouldn't bet against you. So good luck tomorrow night, okay? Yes. All right, Jake, get on over here. Okay, Jake, you're a worldwide star, YouTube, tens of millions of followers, music artist, the whole shot, and now you're a pro boxer. Why the drive to become a pro boxer when you seemingly got the world by the tail?
The sport, I'm made for this, and to me, it's an opportunity to prove people wrong. But it's something I fell in love with. It's something I'm passionate about. It's something I'm good at, and I'm ready to take the world by storm. I'm going Super Saiyan 3 tomorrow.
Well, I'll tell you, it's going to be exciting. We've been watching this for months, and you guys have had some little feud going on social media, and I think we're excited to see it to go on live tomorrow night.
No, 100%. Nate's kids, if you're watching, please don't watch the fight. I don't want to embarrass your dad in front of you. Please, Nate's kids, don't watch the fight. It's going to be bad. It's going to be bloody.
Nate Robinson, Jake Paul. Good luck to the both of you. And coming up next, the main event, the one we've all been waiting for to make their way to the scales, one of the most anticipated matchups of all time. So are we ready to bring them up? Oh, my goodness, here we go. Okay, we're going to go to Roy Jones.
Everyone fights for a reason. Some fight because it's who they are, because it drives them, because it's in them, because it is them.
The kind of fight you dream about.
Everyone fights for a reason, to win, because these are gladiators who aren't afraid to hurt, to be hurt. It doesn't matter why they fight. All that matters is who's standing at the end. Tomorrow, live on pay-per-view, Triller presents Tyson versus Jones.
Iron Mike Tyson. Jones will be coming out of the blue corner, Tyson out of the red corner. Two of the greatest fighters of all time, to put it simply. Pound for pound, any way you want to look at it. So many world titles, you can't mention them all. We have been waiting for this fight for some time, but when you put two of the greatest of all time together, fireworks are going to happen, that's for sure. We are so excited. This is it. Okay, here we go. Let's bring out, fighting out of the blue corner, Superman Roy Jones Jr. 66-9, 47 KOs, making his way to the scale. His last fight was February 2018. Defeated Scott Simon, unanimous 10-round decision. He was the pound-for-pound king for many years. RJJ. He was the first former middleweight champion to win a heavyweight title in 106 years. Roy Jones Jr. on the scale. 2:10 even for Superman, 2:10 even. Former silver medalist at the 1988 U.S. Olympics, Roy Jones Jr., one of the greatest of all time. And now making his way up to the scale, out of the red corner, Iron Mike Tyson. What do you say? 50-6, 44 KOs, International Hall of Famer. It's been more than 15 years since Tyson last stepped in the ring in 2005 when he fought Kevin McBride. Just made his debut on the EDM scene by teaming with LA-based Tiki Lau for the track Mike Tyson. He does it all. He was the youngest heavyweight champion in the history of boxing. The undisputed world champion from 1987 to 1990. Let's get him up to the scale. The one, the only, Iron Mike Tyson. Two 20.4, is that correct? 220.4 for Tyson. 220.4 for Tyson. Fellas, we're going to have you get into the Triller box. Square off. This is, that's got to be one of the greatest face-offs you'll ever see in the history of boxing. Iron Mike Tyson. Superman Roy Jones Jr. This is the one we've all been waiting for. One of the most anticipated matchups in the history of boxing. Too many world titles to mention. And they will go at it tomorrow night, live from Los Angeles, California. Tyson on Triller.com. Two of the greatest of all time right there. Iron Mike, Superman. Roy, if I could get you over here, I just want to do a quick little question for you. One of the greatest pound-for-pound fighters in the history of boxing. He was basically the pound-for-pound king. That's what he was known for. All right, Superman. There are a lot of people, actually including yourself, saying that taking this fight was a mistake. How do you plan on winning this fight, Roy?
Well, I've done a lot of things that people probably thought was a mistake in my lifetime. I make a lot of mistakes. They said my whole boxing career was a mistake, and I love it. They said I did everything wrong, but it worked out right. So I can't tell you how to do it. It's going to probably look wrong. So I know if I try to tell it to you, it's going to sound wrong, but it's going to turn out right. Trust me.
Captain Hook. Superman Roy Jones Jr. RJJ, good luck tomorrow night, champ. And as soon as he makes his way off, we'll get Iron Mike over here and ask him a quick question. Tyson on Triller.com, pay-per-view tomorrow night, Saturday, November 28th, live, Staples Center, Los Angeles, California. Making his way over to the interview here. Iron Mike, if you want to talk into there so they can hear you. Okay. Mike, you're known as probably the baddest man on the planet. Plain and simple. Ferocious punisher and puncher. Kind of like the Hulk. You can unleash your power at any time. How quickly do you plan on unleashing your power tomorrow night against Roy Jones Jr.?
I'm pitching punches. And everything else is up to Roy. I'm coming at him. He doesn't have to worry about me. If I'm going to run anywhere, I'm running right at him.
Iron Mike Tyson, need he say more? One of the greatest of all time. What a match it's going to be. Thank you, Mike. Good luck to you. Thank you, Roy Jones Jr. Good luck to you. Tomorrow night, Tyson on Triller.com in one of the most anticipated bouts that we will ever see. What a show it's going to be. Please remember, Tyson on Triller.com, pay-per-view. Call your cable provider today. We will also be streaming live to get the show. We will go on at 8 p.m. Eastern for the 1 hour free view. And then at 9 o'clock Eastern, we go live on the pay-per-view. We've been waiting for this for a long time. The headlining event, the main event, one for the ages, we're going to call it. Iron Mike Tyson, Superman Roy Jones Jr. I'm Barry Egan saying, so long, Los Angeles, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
Everyone fights for a reason. Some fight because it's who they are, because it drives them, because it's in them, because it is them.
The kind of fight you dream about.
Everyone fights for a reason, to win, because these are gladiators who aren't afraid to hurt, to be hurt. It doesn't matter why they fight. All that matters is who's standing at the end. Tomorrow, live on pay-per-view, Triller presents Tyson versus Jones.